Hello again. This video I have to start off by issuing a sincere apology for the audio. Sadly, it's my mistake, nothing to do with the equipment. I hadn't quite fully pressed home the 3.5 jack lead into the radio mic, so throughout the entire video, unfortunately, the sound has been recorded by the onboard microphone on the GoPro. So there's an awful lot of ambient noise, traffic noise picked up. I'm really sorry, but rather than go back and reshoot the whole thing again, which is not really feasible, I thought, own up, say sorry, and we'll get into the video. Hello again everyone, and this time I'm in Parkgate on the Wirral, yet again on the Wirral, but this time further south than I've filmed before. For those of you that watched the recent video where I did 3 different locations and had 3 disappointing times, we're on the same estuary, namely the Dee, which is away to my right hand side. Parkgate became established, if you like, in the 13th century when it was given royal assent to be a hunting park. So that was the beginning, if you like, of its known history. But it was really in the 18th century that it hit the big time, if you like. I might put up a map to illustrate the layout of the Dee estuary, because originally Chester was the main port, going back to Roman times, but over the centuries the river progressively silted up more and more. So the next port that was established was a little bit further south, but downstream, if you get what I mean, at Neston, and that became a very important port until yet again the silting encroached on it. Ships were no longer able to use it, and so a further port was established here at Parkgate, and it gets its name from the fact that the original sort of landing stage, if you like, was opposite the entrance to the park itself, Parkgate. It's had some famous visitors because in its heyday it was a major destination port for people leaving from here, crossing over to Ireland. But I'm down here today because I want to show you the same sort of silted up estuary that we had in Heswall in a recent video. But to contrast Parkgate with Heswall, it's full of very interesting buildings. So we're going to see what we can get. I'll talk to you later. So here we are with the traditional seawall and access steps. You can see it's been revetted, nicely angled. Some of the buildings there on what used to be the forefront, the harbour side, if you like, at Parkgate. As I pan you around, you instantly realise just exactly how silted up the estuary has become. Now it's incredibly hazy today, not quite sure how well the GoPro is going to pick them up, but if you can see across in the distance those hills, yet again that's the low hills of North Wales. there's absolutely no chance you're going to see it on the GoPro, but I've just taken a shot with the long tele lens and looking straight across to the coast of North Wales. It's a nothing shot, but I just wanted to put it in because hopefully when I see it on the monitor anyway, you'll be able to see just about Flint Castle, which of course is on the opposite side, the opposite bank of the River Dee, and it featured in a video that I did a few weeks ago. It's an incredibly busy part of the world, Parkgate. Attracts hundreds, thousands of tourists every year. I'm here on a Saturday, of course. I think I might just change hands with the GoPro so you get a view of the buildings and not the estuary. There we go, that might be better for you. A couple of very well-regarded eateries and pubs. So most of these houses are 18th century. There's just a very few that have been built in the intervening centuries. They're all fascinating to look at. All different styles, architecture. There we have the local church of St. Thomas the Apostle. Built in 1843. While I'm sort of pointing you at the marshland, I have to emphasise it's a site of huge regional, if not national importance with regard to wildlife. There is an RSPB reserve up here, and these marshlands are just a heaven for birds of all sorts. In fact, there's a few on top of the reeds now. Can't tell what it is from here, and it's probably going to fly by the time I put the big lens on. But we'll try and get one. Well, I got a couple of grab shots of whatever it was. I'll have to see if I can work out what it is when I get back home. But I'm going to try and get, and this is going to be a real cobbled together job, I think. I want to get a panorama of the houses on the seafront, as it were. Why is it going to be cobbled together? Well, no tripod. Even if I had the tripod, I don't have a panoramic head, just ball and socket. So it's really going to be suck it and see, hope that Affinity and or On One can do me a good job when stitching them together. It's difficult, and the sun is in a very awkward place as well. But you know, what the heck? Give it a go. I've done it, about 9 shots, upright format. Goodness only knows how the software is going to be able to cope with it. Manual exposure, left her focusing on auto, so it is very much going to be a suck it and see situation. I don't hold out a great deal of hope. Let's hope I'm surprised. So there you have Parkgate, a sort of potted history, I guess you'd call it. Now, the panorama that I attempted, what I thought I would do, yes, I'm cheating, I do already know the result, I know the outcome of that panorama, but what I'm going to do is to show you exactly what I did using Affinity Photo version 2 and let you see how it comes out. I'll let you make your own mind up about the result. Let's have a look on the Mac and we'll take it from there. Okay, so Affinity Photo is open on my desktop. All I need to do is to go up to the menu and go File, New Panorama. Not exactly difficult. Now I've already opened up a folder with the images in that I want to include in this panorama, so I simply go Add, and the folder in question has been named Pano. Who knew? So there we are, 9 different photographs, and I want to upload all those into this new panoramic stack, if you like. Not a focus stack, but a stack of images ready for making into a panorama. And we'll click on Open, and straight away we have now got all 9 images lined up, and all I need to do now is to hit Stitch Panorama, wait for a few seconds while it does its magic. Now when I did this first time I wasn't very hopeful. Let's see how it goes now, second time around. You're going to see this in real time along with me. There we are. So it has actually produced a panorama. Strange edges, but that's all down to me doing it handheld. So I'll just click on OK, and it will then actually open that image in Affinity. It's going to render it. The excitement is just, wow, nail-biting stuff this, isn't it? I can tell you're really on the edge of your seat. There we are. Now, apart from the fact it is incredibly underexposed, it looks pretty darn good, I have to say. So I'm going to be applying that, top left. There we are, and we are now into the develop persona in Affinity. So there's 2 ways I can approach this. What I'm going to do is to go onto the develop persona, because that will give me more flexibility when it comes to adjusting the exposure. So let's just dial in some added exposure. I think probably somewhere around there. Doesn't look too bad. I'm going to come down here and adjust the shadows and highlights. I want a little bit more detail in the shadow areas, and as much as I dare I want to decrease the highlights, particularly over there on the right hand side. There we go, that's not too bad. I might just add a touch increase on the black point. I'm really quite happy with that. Now obviously, because I was hand holding these 9 individual images, I was inadvertently moving the camera up and down, whereas if I'd used a tripod and a panoramic head, then in theory it would have been a lot less wasted image area. As it stands, we've got a lot of wasted image top and bottom, a little bit left and right, so I'm going to crop it. So we'll go back in and I'm going to crop it. I'm going to crop it unconstrained so that I can remove the bare minimum from the top and the bare minimum from the base and the bare minimum at each end. Something like that, and once you're happy with that, click on the apply button and we have a tidier looking panorama, let's put it that way. Still maybe a little bit dark, but I'm going to leave it like that for the purposes of this exercise. You'll see the original version that I saved shortly when I show it to you on the video. So I'm just going to come out of Affinity and open up the DaVinci Resolve so I can show it to you on there. So here is the panorama that I saved when I first did this exercise. The exposure is going to be slightly different to the version you've just seen. The only thing that I've done extra is to put my sort of trademark white border around the image. I'm really quite happy with it. It's not a particularly imaginative panoramic, but Parkgate is one of those odd locations with this marshland and the reed beds immediately off the seafront that used to be. I just thought it was worth trying this particular exercise. I know other people have done this in the past, but I think it's quite an interesting and entertaining look at Parkgate. So that's the panorama, and I'm just going to show it you full screen and actually pan across from left to right. So this is full width screen, top to bottom, and I'm just panning from left to right as if it were video, I guess you could say. But it gives us a better opportunity to look at the way that Affinity has stitched the 9 images together. And I've looked at it and I struggle. I just can't see an area where it's got some strange artifacts and stuff. It seems to have done a really good job on this particular panorama. So armed with that knowledge, I'll probably try it again in the future, maybe even take a tripod with me. Can't guarantee it, but you never know. Well, that was my whistle-stop tour along the seafront in Parkgate on the Wirral. I hope you've got some little enjoyment out of watching it. Once more, apologies for the audio, it was my bad. I'll try not to let it happen again. Oh, I tell you what, I needed this. To be the original Parkgate ice cream. It's famous for it around here. Delicious on the daylight today. Old age creeping on. Until the next time, make sure you enjoy your photography, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye for now.